So assuming you are in the market for a new iPad and you have that $600 and the newly released iPad Air 5 with M1 chip seems to be just for you. But what if I told you that there is another iPad and another iPad directly sold by Apple, which one offers a greater price and the other offers equal price and the features, that certain features at least, that iPad Air 5 is lacking? And obviously, before we start this video, like if you are going for top performance, like obviously these iPads that I'm gonna talk about in this video are not gonna beat the iPad Air when it comes to the sheer horsepower, because let's face it, that M1 processor for $600 is an actual monster. Like the graphical power, the single core, multi-core, like is just mind-blowing. But here's the question, like iPad Air, iPads in general, iPad OS is like nerfed. Like this OS is not fully capable, and we've been talking about it for years and years and years. Hardware is so far ahead and the software is behind. And what a difference does it make when you put like a great engine into a car that's not fully capable of using the power of that engine. And same goes with iPad Air. Like it has tons of power, tons of other capabilities. It's a new device, it's a great product that I fully recommend. But it has limitations. Like there are some limitations like the 60Hz screen, that like you don't need M1 to run that 60Hz screen. The previous iPad Air is just as good. But the previous iPad Air is not the iPad that I'm gonna talk about today. Because today I'm gonna talk about two iPads. iPad Pros, to be specific and to be exact. iPad Pro 2018 and 2020. And before you leave this video and you're like, what the heck is this guy talking about? Well, if you actually go to Apple refurbished section, you will see their iPad Pro 2018 and iPad Pro 2020. One is for $500 and the other is for $600, which is either lower or the same price as iPad Air 5. And like, what exactly do you gain when you are choosing these devices over the new iPad Air 5? Well, at first, you are losing some of the horsepower. But as I said, iPad OS doesn't take advantage of that horsepower. You don't have the computer software on that, so you don't need that much of a horsepower. But then again, you lose some years of the support. Well, you could argue about that. But do you really think that iPad Pro 2018 or 2020 specifically are gonna be abandoned by Apple soon? Like, there is no way. They still look identical to the M1 iPad Pro. Like, as a matter of fact, the 2020 iPad Pro is like literally the same design. Like, even the camera bump is the same. So like, and the hardware inside them is still plenty powerful for average iPad user. But on top of that, like, you have enough power. And now what you gain is slightly better audio. I mean, I get it, for some people it's not like a deal breaker, and iPad Air 5 is still very good when it comes to that, but still there's an argument when it comes to that. But there is also another stronger argument which may be really attractive for you. You get that promotion display 120 Hz, like for the same or actually cheaper price than iPad Air 5. And on top of that, if you choose iPad Pro 2020, you get twice the amount of base storage compared to the iPad Air 5, which is like for the same price. If you choose the 2020 refurbished iPad Pro, like you get more storage, you get promotion display and slightly better audio, and probably better microphones as well if you are into that. And what you're really losing, like you're using M1 chip, which doesn't really make much of a difference when it comes to day-to-day performance. And on top of that, like if you are a gamer, you will have way better experience with the previous 2020 and even 2018 iPad Pro, because more and more games are actually supporting 120 FPS, which the previous Pros are capable of running because of the promotion display, and iPad Air 5 is not. Even though it's more powerful, you don't take advantage of that power. And on the other hand, with the A12X and A12Z iPad Pro, you do take advantage of that power because of that screen that is capable of actually using some ounce of the power that it possesses. And if you like worry that this is a refurbished product, like Apple refurbished section is actually great. They test all of that stuff. They I think replace the chassis, they replace the battery, so it's literally like a brand new device. So like If you wanna get iPad Air, sure, you have a center stage, sure, it's a newer device, it's gonna last longer than these iPad Pros, but like, as I said, with the 2018 iPad Pro, you are saving $100. You still have 64 gigabytes just like on iPad Air. You have better audio. You have promotion display that allows you to take more of an advantage of the power that you already have. It gives you better experience. It's a slightly more modern design, at least when it comes to, the bezels being slightly slimmer. Not that it makes any of the difference, but still you have that capability. And with the same price, with the 2020 iPad Pro, you actually gain a lot. You actually gain ultra-wide camera, if you care about that. You get that promotion display, again, better audio, better microphones. RAM is still pretty decent, like as I said. Air 5 is gonna outperform the previous iPad Pros, but like day to day, I feel like for most users, those previous iPad Pros will appear to be faster because of that faster screen. So like this is a good argument. Also, these screens are brighter, so you will have better experience when it comes to watching videos in sunlight or maybe some HDR, which you are capable of watching, for example, on YouTube. Like that 600 nits, even though it's an LCD, you still have the capability of watching those HDR videos that are gonna look better on the 600 nits compared to that 500 nits. And yeah, it's a quite a nice choice, because now you are not actually limited to the iPad Air 5. Like if you wanna get like that promotion, if you don't wanna sacrifice anything really, then you have those refurbished iPad Pros directly from Apple, which are either cheaper or the same price and offer you some nice counter capabilities compared to the iPad Air 5. Again, you just care about pure power, then sure, Air 5 is gonna be better. But again, with Air 5 you're limited by storage and you're limited by the screen. So like these iPad Pros, they are actually great alternative if you're into that. And if you're into iPad for $500-600, I would really consider those refurbished iPad Pros. And if you are not sure which one is better for your specific use case, well, then again, you may ask me in the comments. And if you are not sure about that promotion display, just go to the Apple Store, like check the new M1 iPad Pro, because it has literally the same screen as the 2018 and 2020 Pro. And then you will see if 120 Hz is something that you really care about, or maybe not necessarily. And then you will make up smart, educated decision. And again, if you have any doubts, make sure to ask me in the comments. Hope you did enjoy. Until next time.